what's up, Street Hogs? This is Eric Kim from the Eric Kim Street Photography blog. All right, so I'm on interview with my buddy Ryan. So, Ryan, introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Cabal. I'm here as an expat, or I guess you could say English teacher, here in South Korea. And I take photos in the streets mostly. I wouldn't call myself a street photographer, but you know, no one can really define what a street photographer really is. But yeah.
So, you know, when it comes to street photography, you know, what about it really draws you to the genre?
Of street photography? Well, I guess you can say that with street photography, you know, there's a bunch of like, what I would say like fleeting moments that no one ever gets to see, and then if you're there and you have a camera with you, then, you know, it's up to you. Like, you could share a story, something you saw, like a feeling that you just experienced, and you're just like super moved by whatever happened. Maybe someone helping another person, or like a really like soft kiss, like, you know, things you see or imagine in the movies, like it could be playing in your head, and you know, you could see it and you could capture it. Like, you have that chance, and it's up to you whether or not you take it, you know.
And you know, when it comes to shooting street photography in Korea, how do you find it different from, you know, taking photos in the States or anywhere else in the world, perhaps?
What's funny is like my whole photography experience started after I got a job here in Korea. In 2009, I visited Mijeonju, and I was shooting primarily with a Nikon D40 and a 50mm, and it was then where I was like, yeah, man, I'm shooting with a Nikon and 50. And then he's like, when I look at your images, like Mijeonju, he was like, well, from the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mijeonju. He's like, when I see your images, they look like, you know, you're taking it with a 75mm. I'm like, no, I'm taking it with a 50, man. You know, that's natural focal length. The eyes, like, it's, you know, what I see is in the viewfinders that I'm gonna get, right? He's like, no, man, you have a crop sensor.
What's that?
I'm like, and then now when I came to Korea, I'm like a lot more educated. I did a lot of my own research, and yeah, I find, you know, taking photos in Korea just very exciting. Everything's different to me. Everything's new, and I'm still learning about Korea, learning the language and whatnot. But definitely, culture is something that really shocks me. Like, you know, in good ways and some bad ways. But everything's like not what you see in those K-dramas, and it's really nice to see, like, experience it for yourself. So, yeah.
And talk a little bit about, so you used to experiment with a lot of different cameras, a lot of different films.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you just walk us through your journey with that kind of stuff?
Oh man, so let me tell you about it. So there was first
So you started with a D40, and then
okay.
Then what?
So my buddy Koi back in high school was like, hey man, you got $100? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I have this camera. It's a point and shoot. It's Canon, and it does selective color. And I'm like, what is selective color? Oh, like, you know, if you highlight blue, it'll be blue, and everything else will be black and white. And I'm just like, dude, $100? All right, I'll take it. So I bought that, and I was like, you know, I had a lot of fun. Some of my friends were like, man, you have a good eye, Ryan. Why don't you like buy an SLR? So I was like, all right, cool. So around like 2009, 2008, maybe. It was Black Friday. My dad was like, all right, let's get you a camera. I'm like, nah, it's okay. We don't have monies. But my dad was like, he's like, surprise, Nikon D40.
That's nice. That's nice.
That was my first camera. So it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be into photography. So it went from a Canon point and shoot, Nikon D40. Then my dad was like, hey, don't you want to go to Japan? So I was like, yeah, of course I want to go to Japan. So I saved up money. I went to Japan, and I met Mijeonju. And that was when Mijeonju was like, he started his Mijeonju show blog and his video, like Circle Rectangle, and then he just exposed me to all his poison, like all everything,
all
like
his Mijeonju poison,
all his like, oh Jesus, it's like, you know, how can someone at such a young age, the ripe age of 21, no, I think he was like 22, 23 back then, And he was just like, all right, there's this camera, there's a medium format camera, there's a large format camera, and then there's these rangefinders and SLRs. I'm like, hold on, there's so many different kinds of cameras. Like, I just have this guy, and he's like, oh, you have a Nikon, right? Well, did you know that Nikon F-mounts can mount old lenses and new lenses and fisheyes and all this stuff? So I was like, okay. So from then, you know, I enjoyed all those cameras, and then when I finally came to Korea, I got an LCA, a Diana F Plus, a Lomo LC wide, which is like a 17mm 4.5 compact camera, a Contax TVS3, a Contax T3.
The poison.
Yeah, all the poison just like started soaking into my body. I was like, oh, this is nice. And then I sold a lot of them. And then I stuck with my Leica M6 and Konica S3 and Ricoh. And now I have an FM2 with a 50mm, and that's about it.
So, you know, when it comes to experimenting with different, or like, what are some of the types of films you've also tried?
Oh yeah, that's right. Man, there was like, you know, when I first started with lomography, it was crazy because they're like, you know, we have all these films, like different ISOs and whatnot, but have you heard about like cross-processing, and have you heard about like black and white, and then, you know, pushing and pulling and all this stuff? And I'm like, no, but it sounds better than, you know, sitting in front of a computer and doing Photoshop all day.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, thanks. I was like, you know, let me just get into film. And then it wasn't until I got into the photography blog, like your blog, where you were like, you know, Ryan, you asked me a question. You're like, do you have like a certain style? Like, what are you trying to go for? And I was just kind of all over the place. All kinds of cameras, all kinds of films. So I couldn't really like, you know, say I have a style. I was just like experimenting all the time because it was fun. And I enjoyed a lot of it. I would say like stick to one film now. Like, you know, it's fun to check out other films, but definitely you want to be known for something, or like a style, or you want to have like your signature or whatever.
So when it comes to photography, what do you want out of photography and your photography?
With my photography, I'm basically still like testing and just like seeing what I like. So far, since I've been living in Korea for so long, maybe like I'm going on 3 years, there's just a lot of interesting things to take photos of. Like markets, like a lot of markets are starting to die out. There's also like the dog market, like that market is kind of rough, but some
What's the dog market?
In Korea they're famous for, well, they're not famous for a dish, but there's a dish that they sell in Korea called boshingtang, which is basically like dog stew, I guess. Yeah, boshingtang. I've never had it. I don't think. I'm pretty sure I haven't. Okay, yeah. But it's mostly located in like shady parts of Korea, and like I don't really go to shady parts. I go to like the glamour and whatever. But yeah, a lot of markets are dying out, and because a lot of businesses and like the economic boom in Korea is really huge. So you know, there's just a lot of things going on. A lot has been changing, so it's hard to keep up with everything. But it's nice to see. It's nice to take photos of all the change.
So you know, what are some of your favorite places you would recommend if people come to Korea for the first time and they want to shoot street photography in Korea? What are some places you recommend?
Oh, man. Some places to recommend. People say like you can go to. It's really tough, but.
Or your favorite places?
My favorite places. I live in Hongdae.
Oh,
so if you guys are in Hongdae, you can come see me and like I'll be taking photos. I haven't really been comfortable shooting with the flash. Like, you know, it's been I'll shoot with it when I'm with like a bunch of friends and I'm just having like a good time and I'm really feeling it. And then, you know, there's a lot of interesting people at night, so flash is okay. But during the daytime and whatnot, yeah. Since I work at a hagwon, which is like an afternoon school program, my style will definitely switch. It'll be like daytime shooting. But yeah, Hongdae, Samcheongdong. Maybe like you can walk from Insadong, Samcheongdong, and like Gyeongbokgung, like all those like historical places. Anything like on Nambuk. But if you go to like the southern area, you can go to like Gangnam and like, you know, a lot of the places that Trevor mentioned in his video. you could watch it somewhere.
And do you how much longer do you plan on staying in Korea?
I have like another year left, and until then, I'm not sure. But I gotta head over to Japan and see my boys, my homies.
Tell who are some of the guys you met up in Tokyo?
Shout outs to Mi Jeonju, 80, the street portraitist, and Bellamy, Mr. Hunt. Barami Hunt, the Japan camera hunter. Yeah.
So maybe if there's people out there in the States or wherever, and they want to take get out of the place and visit Korea, any certain programs you would recommend, or any advice you give to those people regarding that?
I would say really keep connected on Twitter, and living in Korea, it's really easy to be connected because there's Wi-Fi spots everywhere. Versus Japan, I found it really hard to find.
There's like no free Wi-Fi anywhere.
No, I survived with a paid phone.
Oh man.
But yeah, most definitely you're gonna have to bring a smartphone or something, and then just hit up David, hit up Trevor, and we'll most likely we'll take you out and we'll go shooting and stuff. So we'll go to Chungmuro and the Namdaemun markets, and we'll just have a good time.
Right on. And any last words?
I just want to say thanks to Eric. Eric, you've been an inspiration, and definitely put more focus on what I want to do, not just with street photography, but in life in general. Also, I've met a lot of cool people through your blog, so it's really nice to be part of something. Although it's a really small niche, it's cool that Eric's doing his thing and he's helping out people like us, like these guys. Okay, no photos in the gallery, but do your thing, keep shooting. One more shout out, my family, I love you guys.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, I know I'm here in Korea for a long time, but I'm always thinking about you guys. Oh! But yeah, that's about it. So all my friends around the world that I met in Korea, in Japan, the Philippines, I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.
All right, cool. Peace out.